Good morning to all. It's Sunday evening. I got this new picture. It's called Mystic, South Africa. It's really nice. Today's my African day. Anyway, I want to read a story that I wrote, my first book. Well, first of all, my name's Tony Anderson. I'm one of the faces of epilepsy. It's a deadly disease that I've been fighting for 30 years. So I'm going to read a short story that I wrote 5 years ago when 8 years ago, my 8-year-old grandson was born. He was 3 days old. I went and visited him in Houston, Texas. 3 days old. Now, I have 5 daughters. My oldest daughter, who's a stand-up comedian, Stacy Anderson. Laugh with Stacy. Look her up on Facebook. We went to a Chinese restaurant for Christmas. Of course, there was no snow down in Texas. So while I was there, I wrote a story. Now, the story I wrote, my neighbor, she was kind of ill. She was on oxygen. No one could smoke in her house. She had a son and a couple of daughters grown, and no one could smoke. They would be in the garage smoking grown. They were grown. So she knew she was ill. And one day the ambulance came and took her away, and she came back. But she knew she was ill. So I had sold her this book, my first book, which is called Scrambled Brain, Stories from an Epileptic Mind. So I wrote this story when I was in Houston. So I had to go back to Houston. You already know where I was at. I had lost you for a second there. So anyway, I wrote this story. When we were at the Chinese restaurant on Christmas, as I walked in, this lady was in the parking lot, and she was looking at me. I believe she wanted me just to offer her some change. So she did ask me, did I have anything I could spare? So I gave her maybe $5. Some people say I shouldn't have. I should have just offered her some food. But someone told me to give her $5. So anyway, I wrote a story thinking about her. It's in this book. It's called Angel. I'm going to read it. And let me say this too. The lady who's ill next door, who's on oxygen, she asked her son to read this story I'm about to read to you at her funeral. It touched me. So I'm going to read it to you, to everyone. It's called Angels. We say angels walk among us, but what does that really mean? What do we really mean? Are they imperfect people who sometimes do good things? Or beings we can't see, gliding above us on gossamer wings? When we look back over our lives, retrospectively, of course, were the angels that touched us all married or divorced? Maybe that downtrodden lady whose eyes you ignore as she tries to ask for a small amount of change once more. Or the veteran with one leg, sitting proudly in his wheelchair, showing nothing but honor, valor, and dedication on his face, knowing that because of him, there is freedom in this place. Maybe the nurse who steals the pills and drinks way too much, but welcomes those less fortunate into her home for lunch. Maybe that mean teacher who really helped you learn, or that firefighter who wouldn't let you burn. Could it be the mother who raised all her kids alone? Those same kids who beg and beg for a brand new iPhone. Could it be that cold-hearted retired man who paid child support for 18 long years for a child he knew wasn't his? Could your angel be pessimistic and see the glass half empty? Or could your angel be optimistic and see that bad boy half full? Could your angel be someone who's not pleasing for you to see? Maybe they're too short or too tall, too big or too small, but sweet as they can be. Some angels aren't apparent until the moment after they die. At least that's what the obituary reads, when we all break down and cry. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for your love. And I love you. Stay blessed forever. Amen.